Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have an unboxing of the HONOR Magic 6 Pro. Let's get started. This is HONOR's high-end device that goes for the top of the line. If you hadn't heard yet, HONOR is independent from Huawei, so it does have Google services if that was something you were worried about. The launch price you are seeing on the screen with its respective conversion to dollars, although remember that prices here are not the same as over there. At this moment I still don't have its launch price, but I will be sharing it with you soon. It has just been presented. So let's see what's inside the box here. We're right up against the cell phone, so let's get it out of here. We can easily say it's one of the best looking devices of the year. I love the design of the camera module. I don't know how to describe this outline they put on the circular module because they came out really nice with this color scheme as well. Also, in this case, the back cover has a super nice texture. Let me turn on the device to see what else comes in the box. And as you notice, we find the key to remove the SIM card tray, and in addition to that, notice that it comes with a case included. This is something that is very surprising because most high-end manufacturers don't even include a charger. So I really appreciate that HONOR continues to include this case that is going to give you a good level of protection. Personally, I would be more encouraged to use this phone without a case because of how nice it is to the touch and sight. But if you are one of the more cautious users, you can put this case and still retain a good aesthetic. Although you always add these reflections that I personally don't like so much, so that's why I would use it without a case. But obviously it's up to you, and it's appreciated that the case is already included in the box. Let's see what else is in the box. As you notice, the 100-watt charger included in the box. This is another excellent piece of news. It's a much more powerful charge than the main high-end competitors, and also it does come included in the box. Although you have to consider that it is a slightly larger charger, but it is obviously much more powerful. So it will be up to you. We are going to notice that it comes with USB-A port, and on the other side we will obviously find USB-C. In this sense, yes, I would like to see a more modern experience with USB-C on both sides, but we still retain these connectors. It comes with an orange highlight, so you can easily distinguish it, because remember that you need to use the original cable and charger if you want to enjoy the fastest charging possible. If you connect a simpler cable to it, it will probably give you a slower charge. So that's all that comes in the box. Let me put all this away before I continue to take a look at the phone. There, I've got the device set up and the feel is very good on first impressions. Evidently, I am just starting to use it, but the truth is that it looks extremely good. Let me walk you through its specs. It is 8.9 millimeters thick and weighs 225 grams. That's in this edition that has synthetic leather on the back cover. The design of the camera module is very nice. We found a screen with 4 curves with 5 stars of resistance in the SGS. So it should be a super tough screen, especially since we've already tested the drop on other HONOR devices that also have 5 stars. So definitely, I would think it will be a very interesting device because it has good aesthetics and good resistance. In fact, it's also IP68 certified against water. In that sense, it performs perfectly as a high-end device. The screen has a diagonal of 6.8 inches and offers us a resolution of 2800 by 1280 pixels. That is a resolution slightly beyond Full HD. Overall, I think it will be a screen that will comply in this aspect. Its refresh rate is capable of up to 120 Hz. So definitely, we are in front of a fully flagship screen. I will tell you more details in the review. Obviously, it has stereo sound, which is expected in the high end. It would be a shame if it didn't have stereo sound. Fortunately, it delivers well. And it also has infrared to make universal remote control. This is a feature that has been missing in the high end, but it still seems very useful to many people. So it's sure to be a major buying factor. The front camera is 50 megapixels with f-aperture 2.0. Additionally, it has a depth sensor 3D, so it has a pill-shaped cutout in that area. So let's give you first look at the front camera. Before taking the picture, it looks totally burnt background, but after taking the picture, it balances highlights and shadows excellently. It looks like a very high detail photo. Amazing. Although the photos in automatic mode are not 50 megapixels, but you can see that it manages to take advantage of all the information from that sensor. So it's a spectacular camera considering that it also has a pretty wide lens. This 3D depth sensor allows us to have a much more advanced facial recognition compared to that offered by other devices. And on the back, we find the 50 megapixel main camera with variable aperture from f1.4 to f2.0 and optical stabilization. Despite having variable aperture, I think in this case it is not as spectacular as the variable aperture of some other devices that have a larger range. But honestly, there are few devices with variable aperture on the market, and this is one of them. Then we find the 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with f-aperture 2.0. Within the ultra wide cameras that exist in the market, this is possibly one of the ones with the largest aperture, so it will have an excellent performance at night, at least that in theory. And finally, we have the 108 megapixel periscope camera with 2.5x optical zoom and also optical stabilization. While it doesn't sound like such an exaggerated optical zoom in terms of range, the combination with the 180 megapixel sensor should result in some tremendous pictures. And in this case, we have other sensors here for focusing and probably flicker avoidance. This is a glimpse of the ultra-wide camera showing us tremendous quality. Notice how even this shadow zone came out well in conjunction with the maximum illumination zone. This is a photograph with the 1x lens. We still have good detail. Notice how even if I zoom in, you can tell there was an insect flying around. It's actually pretty good. And if we start zooming in, notice that the photograph still retains a good level of detail. This is the 2.5x camera, and then we're looking at the 5x zoom, which is already hybrid zoom. Trying to obviously take advantage of the sensor information, and I honestly think it maintains the optical quality very well. Notice how we keep appreciating over there the insect that was close by. Next is the photograph with the 10x zoom, and note, the insect is still there. And it is really surprising how it is able to get so much information out of this sensor. This is a 30x zoom photograph and still has an excellent level of detail. Then 50x, and finally the maximum it gets is 100x, which is obviously already a bit forced, but for maximum zoom I think it's very good. It's a very powerful looking photographic system. Remember that the ultra-wide camera also has autofocus, so it allows you to do very good quality macro photography. In fact, you can get even closer and notice the tremendous detail we see in these little flowers. This is as close as the main camera allows you to get. So the main camera is quite far away in focus, but it is compensated by the ultra-wide camera, which does allow you to get very close to maintain good photo quality. If you apply 2.5x zoom in macro photography, you are not going to use the periscope camera, but you are going to use the main camera applying zoom since the periscope camera. This is as close as you can get. But anyway, it seems to me quite a versatile photographic system in conjunction with the three cameras. And in portrait photography, it also allows us to use various zoom settings. This would be the result with 1x, and it looks like a good quality photograph to me. Next, the result with 2x in the zoom setting, and we still appreciate a very good level of detail, a nice blur. Next with 2.5x, where you are already using the optical zoom, and again a very nice level of detail, a very nice blur. But I love that you can also take portrait photography in 5x, where the perspective is very similar to what we find in professional portrait photography, giving us an excellent result. So I insist that as first impressions, the camera seems spectacular to me. We will have to test it much more thoroughly, but for now I really like the result. It can record video in 4K with any of the three lenses. In this sense, also already feels a much more premium experience, unlike past generations where the main camera was the protagonist and the companions did not have so much quality. But in this case, it seems that the three cameras have a supreme quality. In fact, the front camera can also record in 4K and has autofocus. The battery is a massive 5,600 milliamps and supports 80-watt charging. Although interestingly, the charger included in the box is 100 watts, although this may vary depending on different regions. It also includes wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. It has 512 gigabytes of internal storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM plus 8 gigabytes of turbo RAM. I've tried other virtual RAM options that don't really work at all, but HONOR seems to me to always give us a good experience whenever we've tried it. And the processor is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but it comes with an S security chip, one made by HONOR, another RF chip made by HONOR, and another chip for power enhancement made by HONOR as well. So it has 4 chips. But to verify the power that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is capable of giving us in this device, we are going to run a benchmark, although remember that it is only a reference number since the real performance we will see when we do the video review and put this device to the test running applications, games, video editors and more. Let's wait and come back. There we have the results, 1,378 points in single core and 5,361 points in multi-core. Tremendous power that this device has. Definitely surprising in many ways, is a totally flagship device. We'll see in the review what we find against it, because for the moment everything seems to be in favor. For the moment we have reached the end of this video. I hope you liked it. If so, you know you can tell us, and we'll see you next time.